And did you manage to network through, or did you just apply online and that was enough?
All network. If I have to tell anyone anything, all network.
Okay.
This industry is all about networking and how you're able to speak to people and how you can connect with people. So my PwC story is pretty interesting in the sense because it shows the power of networking and honestly kind people as well. So when I was working in TD, at that time there was this discussion about shifting the CPA the banks into CPA training grounds, and they were not listening. So I actually went to TD. I did a whole presentation at that time. It was one of the VPs, and I said, "These are the reasons why you should become a training ground." So he listened to me. He was very nice. I literally just called him and I said, I really want to meet you. So he was very kind. At 8 a.m., he said, "Okay, come before the rush starts." So I went there. I did the presentation. He listened to me, and then he said, "You know what you're saying? It's not that easy." Obviously, I was very childish. So I was like, "Oh, what's the big deal? You can just shift it to a training ground and just give me the hours. What's the problem?" And then he sat me down. He said, "It's not that easy that we can just shift it. It's the whole kind of setup and background and training that you need to do. You can't just be set up as a CPA training ground." I said, "Fine." So then there was another kind of, I think it was through TD as well. They have this group called Ascend. I don't know if you've heard about it. So it's a networking group for not South Asians, but for Asians. And through TD, they had free membership. So I said, "You know what? Because at this point, I was desperate because I had passed my exam, but it was having a piece of paper without any value, right? So at this point, I was desperate. So I went to them. They have this networking ground called Ascend. It was basically Asian leaders, and I said, "Let's try my luck. Like, what difference does it make?" And at this point, I had literally again walked into 50 CPA firms saying, "I need a job," and none of them responded. Forget about the
Sure.
big four firms. So it was like at this point, the small firms don't want me, the medium firms don't want me, the big fours are anyways out of question. So it's okay. So I went to this event, and there was this partner. His name was Rahul Choudhury. He was in PwC, financial services. Very kind man, extremely kind man. And I just went to him and I spoke to you. You know how you're just speaking to different people? And he was over
Yeah.
there and I spoke to him. And I said, "I really want to get into the firm." So he liked my personality and my determination. And he was like, "Okay, let's just come to my office and let's chat. What do you want exactly?" Because my discussion with him was, I just want to get in. I just want to get in the big four firms. I don't care whatever you hire me. You hire me as an IFS, you hire me as a consulting, you hire me as assurance. I don't care. I just want to get in because I just want to get into the big four. So he said, "Okay, sit down. Let's sit down and figure out what your options are rather than just saying, I want to get in." Right. So
Yeah.
he sat me down. He said, "Okay, in assurance, if you go through the assurance practice, then you'll have to do the tax and stuff. If you go through the Cato or the consulting part, this is your option." So he walked me through all the options and he said, "Listen, looking at your personality, I think you would be a very good fit in risk assurance." I didn't even know what risk assurance was. And he said, "Let me get you into risk assurance IT." And I had no background in IT. I actually am really bad. At that time, I was like really bad in IT. So he said, "Okay, try to get your foot in over there." So then he helped me build in the network and whatever my resume was missing technically, he helped said, "These things are missing. You need to work on these things. You're not highlighting these things." So he helped me in that process. And then he got me into risk assurance. Now, risk assurance was an easier catch because everyone wanted to get into assurance, but risk assurance had recently become a Cato. We were the first batch, we were the guinea pigs. So
Okay.
that's why a lot of people didn't even know about it. So that's how he got me into the firm.
Wow. That's a really, like, in terms of just not being able to getting any traction and then all of a sudden you were able to just work through that. It's very
Yeah.
rare. Would you say that? I would say that's pretty rare, like just being able to work it out from that position.
Honestly, it's determination, Azam. If anyone in today's world comes, and this is my own personal experience, they're very good people, they're very kind people out there. You just have to show your determination and you need to show that you really want something. And someone out there, maybe it's going to be 200 people, out of which one will listen to you. But there's always
Right.
going to be that one person listening to you. Like once I went to these networking events, and is another very nice, he was actually a Pakistani partner. And I said, "I can't get into the farms. I don't understand. What's wrong with me? Is something wrong with me personally or what's happening?" So he said, what time the partners, you know what time the work starts? I said, yes, it's 9 to 5 usually people start. And he said, you know what time the partners come? He said, I said, yes. No, I was like, I don't know what time they come. He says they come at 7 a.m. So between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., their assistants are not over there. So you can just call in and just speak to them directly because the assistants wouldn't let me speak to him, speak to the
Right.
partners. So like these small hints that people used to give saying, do this kind of, and you constantly doing this, it takes you somewhere in life.
Yeah, exactly. So then once you joined PwC, how was that experience like overall?
Oh,
Learning and
that was a
whatnot.
game changer. That was a total game changer. How it works in the industry and how it works in the consulting firm is a totally different ballgame. Because in the industry, you have your set tasks, you have your set things that you have to do. You have a 9 to 5, you do your 10 things, at least in the initial roles that I had. Not all industry is the same. Obviously, once you get to a VP or a higher position, and some of the industries have become very competitive as well. But at least in my initial roles, it was literally like 9 to 5, and you do your thing and you go. And in the farm, the first day I went, after all of this determination, the first day I went, I got such bad comments that the third day I called my sister. I said, I was crying. I said, I don't want to do this. I'm leaving this. And she said, you tried so much. So just do it. Just give it another week. And then, of course, my mentor changed and then she took me to a next level. So it's a totally different kind of level of expectation, level of even the level of work that you have to do and the brain power and the exhaustion that comes with it. It's totally different. But again, on the flip side, it's a very adventurous world because you don't know what's going to happen the next second.
Right.